Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is a very basic tutorial that is aimed and geared at new startups or students or people that are very apprehensive with the AutoCAD program that would like to get off on the right foot in establishing a sheet set, that is a plan set that will be consistent throughout their entire project. It's very easy to do and it only requires a few layers to start, but a little bit of planning as far as having a location for your architectural base and your border sheet that you will be using. Both of these will be referenced into our drawing for us to begin our new work, but that will be another tutorial. So let's jump right into this. I have properties docked off to the right, I have external references and layer manager to the left. Now if you have any questions about these things, my name is Mark and you can contact me at redlinemep@gmail.com anytime with questions, or if I can assist you with any CAD projects, I would love to do that as well. So let's see here. First thing to do, create our layers. Let's do an LA. And I'm hopelessly addicted to my shortcut keys. I don't even know how to use the pull downs anymore. So need to just click on 0, press enter. It will carry down the properties. It will create a new layer and carry down the properties of the one above. A-XREF. This will be our architectural base. Hit return again. It creates a new B-XREF. This will be our border reference. And let's create one more layer called no plot. And go out to the printer to the right here, and you can see how we can toggle it on and off by clicking it. Let's do that. Turn it off. This is what we will select our viewport with, and it will not plot. Okay, here we are in model space. The first thing we need to do is go up to our layers, pull down here in the upper left, or wherever you have yours docked. And this is where I do all of my layer work from now on usually. So AXREF, or Architectural XREF. Go over to the External References tab, right click, Attach Drawing. I will select my architectural first floor base. You need to browse for yours. Open. Make sure that scale and insertion point are turned off so that they come in at the proper location and at the right size. And we won't see it until we zoom extents, which is a Z and an E. Now, we're going to go back over to Paper Space. Before we do that, right click on Layout 2, delete it. We don't need that layout. Not in this case. Now we can click on Layout 1. Now we're going to attach our border. We can see our XREF inside of this little viewport they give us. But this is an 8.5 by 11 default. We need to change this. So we need to go to, you see we now have our reference layers in here. So just tap a B. It'll take us down to our Bs. And select BXREF for the border. Now we need to go to the external references, right click, attach this border. Now you attach your border that you have appropriate. I have a 36 by 48 border I'm using as a sample. Again, scale, insertion point off. So everything comes in at 0, 0 at the proper size. Zoom extents, and which is a Z and an E again. And here's our 36 by 48 way out into the ether, which we can change now. We need to come in. This is our 8.5 by 11. This is the size it thinks our page is. So we need to change that. Right click on the layout, Page Setup Manager. We're going to modify this layout. I don't have a plotter selected here at home right now, so I'm going to choose Drawing to PDF. And I will come down to the paper size and select the corresponding 36 by 48 Expand E. I will then come up and select Grayscale. You can use the AutoCAD color table if you want to. I would use, but you need to familiarize yourself with how that plots. Grayscale is what I will choose in this instance. And I then choose Window, and I always do this. It's just a force of habit. F3 to toggle your snaps on and off. Make sure that I get the extents of my sheet. And again, this is real time, 36 by 48. Center the plot. Preview. Now we'll see our sheet looks right. We can right click, exit to get out of the preview. OK, close. And we have our sheet set up. Now we need to erase with an E and the viewport they gave us. Let's go up. We don't have to do that, but this is something I'm in the habit of doing. You can move that thing around if you want to. I'm going to now on the no plot layer, which will not plot in Paper Space, I will do an MV as in Matthew Victor, and I will select a box in my Paper Space. And again, we're cutting a hole, as it were, right into this 36 by 48 piece of paper and allowed to look through this hole at whatever zoom factor we want to. And this is our scale factor. So we will now come back out to Paper Space, select the viewport, Let's come down to our little viewport scale box in the lower right hand corner. Select the 1/8 inch scale. I happen to be familiar with this project, so I know that it's going to fit in there well. So this is something you'll have to play around with and see what works best for you before you start putting any line work on to establish your proper scale before you start. It's best to do all of these things before you start. So click back out here, and I do not need, as you can see in this area here, if I double click in here, you can see that there, if I hold the shift key, it'll do it straight like an ortho. A2, B1, C1. I have several areas in this set. So the ones I'm concerned with are, let me straighten that up a bit more. There we go. Now, the area I'm concerned with in this plan is area A. So I'm going to track back to this match line. And again, you'll be more familiar with your own floor plan. You'll know where to do these things. I just happen to be familiar with this one. It looks far better justified to the right, as you're already probably aware. At this point, we need border text in here. Get with me. Shoot me an email again, redlinemep@gmail.com. I can direct you through the steps of establishing a border, but you need to establish your border and then make a block of your text and get it out of the border, because it will change from sheet to sheet. So we need to reinsert it. So that's what I'll do now. I'll go to a layer that plots, like say BXREF, insert. I will browse for my block, which I have border text here. And again, you'll most likely want to have all of these in the same folder, so that when you burn a disk, all the XREFs will open properly when people open their drawings from the disk. So specify on screen, off. There we go. There's my text. Now here, John Q. Contractor. It's obviously very cookie cutter. We would move. This would be something that you could establish in your own blocks folder that you could easily move into every new drawing that you create. You can have one for every size border sheet that you have. It's very, very effective to do that. We would obviously change this to 1/8 inch scale to reflect our current scale. So 1/8 inch scale, and we would change this to say, M101 for instance, and this text would reflect accordingly. And we could at this point come over, right click on the layout one. Actually, let's rename it to M101, and we will then move, and it matches our title block now, and this sheet's fine the way that it is. We can now move or copy, move to end, create a copy. Okay, and much like Excel, we have another tab here that we can work with. All of this is fresh and on its own. We can modify it to whatever we want, and it won't affect the other tab. We can change this one to M102. We can then rename our tab to M102 to keep ourselves straight, and it's very easy to get around in the project from this point forward. And we could also get in here and pan to the other area that corresponds and adjust our viewports accordingly. And so that is the most effective way that I know to set up a sheet set. So if you ever have any questions, contact me. My name is Mark. I'm at redlinemep@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.